Hello, my name is Lauren Jesus, and this video is for my program philosophy assignment, the video section. So the first thing I want to start off on is going over the chapters I'm going to be covering. So I'm going to be doing chapter 1, dominant discourse, alternative narratives, and resistant movements. Chapter 2, the importance of paradigm, and my own chapter 4, Reggio Emilia, a story of democracy, experimentation, and potentiality. So, the first question that we had to answer is, the paradigm is reflected in the early learning and care discourse within these artifacts. So, while reading these 3 chapters, I've discovered that with these artifacts, the main focus was on, was on positivism approach. So the positivism approach is predicting what is next, understanding what is next, and understanding what is next. Positivism is to believe that there are correct ways to predict how someone will be and how someone will act, and this also can be making assumptions of how you think someone will react to a situation beforehand, and how you can prejudge someone just based on their appearance and their facial expressions before even interacting with them. So I found that also these chapters, a thing that related to the paradigm is this quote here, reflective and indolosity and that is to figure out who I am then, is a choice to early childhood educators to figure out what feels right for them and how they can make their own pedagogy. So I feel like finding this from the artifacts that we were given really allowed me to see that there are different pedagogies for different approaches and different people. There's not just one certain way to view something and one certain way to understand and preach. There's different ways that can be correct for anybody. Another thing that I noticed is that each EC has their own paradigm. ECE promotes language and thinking skills. Early childhood educators invest in promoting social early structure for children. I found this in the early years study in the artifacts we were given. I found that this quote was really interesting because this artifact also went into detail about the certain aspects of their pedagogy that they believe in and how they don't just prejudge like positivism approach does. The next question I'm going to answer are these artifacts political? So the artifacts from the early studies is political, as they mention the economical benefits for early childhood and education, dealing with where their money goes if they invest in their child's early education. This artifact also talks about their company's contributions to the government and how the government is now working to be more constructive and invested in the ECE movement and for the #ECEs for Canada movement. In the chapters, one thing that really stood out to me is that in today's society, it's not very politically correct to prejudge someone before meeting them and having this ideal of someone before we can interact or before we just be with that person. But in positivism approach, in the chapters that we read about, it would be considered weird if we don't have that prejudged ideal or prejudged thought of what this person is or who this person is or what they're thinking or what are they going to do next, what am I going to do next. So I feel like that is not politically correct to have that prejudged ideal of someone, and especially if in today's society we're all very different and we're all looking for different things. So it can be very hard to see that that is a very acceptable approach. And then the next question is, who benefits and who is disadvantaged by the presented in these artifacts? In these artifacts, ECEs are being benefited as they are being supported for more accommodations for their profession. That was in the early years artifact. The people who are also being benefited are the government, as they are being now portrayed that they are more committed in supporting the ECEs and early learning. As I mentioned above, the government is now more invested in the ECE, the hashtag ECE for Canada campaign for this company, and they're now almost as in a partnership with each other to support ECEs. So the last question is, has any of your thinking shifted since the first day of class? What, how, and why? My thinking has shifted from the start of class up until now, as now I can see how different paradigms can be in early learning years. The textbooks talks about the different countries, such as England, having different assessments of quality. Now being more aware of each person's different views of their paradigm, I can adapt my paradigm and learn how I can accommodate everyone's paradigm. My paradigm has also changed due to the fact that I don't make assumptions like the positivism approach. This approach goes against my own ideas and morals, and as being an ECE, as you are prejudging a certain situation or a person. One thing I believe that I would change from just reading these chapters and articles that I believe we all can work on is having that predetermined ideal and predetermined judgment of meaning, or like seeing someone new, because in our field it is very hard to try to build relationships with someone if the other person is having this predetermined ideal of you or idea. So I feel like going forward, just from these chapters and this class so far, I feel like I can now have this idea of learning how to not go towards the positivism approach and work to not stray away from having these predetermined ideas of someone or the situation I'm going to be going into. I'm going to be looking to have more of an open mind and an open response to the situation. So thank you for listening to my video on the program philosophy assignment for Lisa Phyllis's class. I hope you have a good day, and I hope you're staying safe. Thank you. Bye.